Earring. The girls, the gloss. Maybe I think because we're like glowy and girly, it's the G, it's the alliteration that I'm stuck on. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, my channel is all about loving my makeup collection as it currently is, being critical of new makeup releases, and then when I do decide to bring something into my collection, I try to be very considerate, think of things through, and make sure that I'm buying things because they're things that I actually really want and think will add value to my collection, as opposed to just randomly buying, because I used to have a habit of just like buying every new release even though it was something that I probably wouldn't like. If that kind of content sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe and make sure you like this video before you leave it. I want to talk about blush. It's summertime, and we have a journey to go on. We love blush. We love blush. We love blush. So what I thought would be fun is I went through my collection of blushes and I grabbed every single one that I thought would be really great for summertime, things that I would like to wear this summer. And I have some twists and turns for those of you who have been watching my channel for any length of time. And I have some, it's basically like taking a look at some of my blush collection, being inspired by it. And when I say being inspired by it, I mean that. So my channel is a lot about loving our collection as it is. So when I'm showing you these blushes, you can be inspired by the type of formula. You can be inspired by the shade I'm showing you. Maybe you have a blush in your collection that is a similar shade, or you have a blush that I have that you haven't used in a while. These are all things that you could do while you're looking at me, look at my collection, and be inspired by your collection. There will be close-ups of the packaging in some overhead footage and some swatching. So you'll get to see all of that. I also, in my swatching, just so you're aware, so in my swatches, I swatched a couple different ways. I did a finger swatch with no buffing, then I do a finger swatch with some buffing, and then I also did some swatches with brushes, depending on the type of formula. So I have a Sonia G base, which I mostly use for creams. I have the Sephora Pro Sculpting Brush number 99, and that's shaped like this. And I also have this one. I don't think Sephora makes this, but this is the Pro Angle Diffuser number 60. So I don't think that brush exists anymore. But with different formulas, I like different brushes. Sometimes I'll even use a fan brush, just depending on the formula of what I'm using, because, they did call for different things. Sometimes they're more pigmented, sometimes they're less pigmented, and just like really getting to know the blush to know how to apply it. So I swatch it a couple different ways so you can see different intensities and maybe inspire you to try some different brushes of different densities with your blushes to like make them feel spicy and new, perhaps make them easier to use for you. Let's jump right into it. The first thing I would like to talk about today is the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush in the Daria shade. I think this is like a thing that is like getting slowly pulled from the Natasha Denona website. Like it's almost always on sale, and every time I've tried to link it recently, I felt like I haven't been able to. So this is what it looks like on the inside, and I'm going to talk about 3 of the things in here. So first there's this center, and it's like the cream blush, and I'm sure it has a shade, but that's not important to me. Yeah, it's just called the cream blush. It's so incredibly bizarre with Natasha Denona, like what things are named. So this is the cream blush. The cream blush is like this, it's like a very pretty pink. Guess what? I'm like into pink blush now. I don't know what happened to me, but it's kind of the blush I want to wear. It's summertime. It gives you that sunburny look, and there's like a beautiful glow to the cream blush specifically. It's just like a very, very pretty. It's almost like orgasm light. It's like just like a very beautiful shade. The other thing in here that I have only really recently started playing with, it's the Duo Glow over on this side. I'm trying to like block the mirror as much as I can, but this thing is so reflective. This is what I have on my cheek today. And so depending on where the light hits it, you get some pink and just some just glow. And I love nothing, because I'm already gonna look like a pile of sweat. I put on makeup, so I already look like a pile of sweat. So there's something really beautiful about this to me. I can't imagine me using this as a highlighter. It would be too dark, but you get like a nice shifty on the cheek. It's really, really pretty. I'm very, very into this just pink glow. Then it also has the powder And I would say that this blush, we're getting like, it's not super pigmented, but it's not pigmented, but it's just like Natasha Denona really got all three of these formulas really right. They're all really easy to use. They blend out. You can use the cream blush as a base and top it with the powder. They're very similar. So sometimes you might just want a powder, sometimes you might want a cream blush, sometimes you want to do the most and do both. And I just think that this really affords itself to it. So maybe if you have this in your collection, because I feel like a lot of people bought this just because it was on sale and then they got it and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Same, but I have been enjoying it in these warmer months. I've been reaching for her. The next thing is the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. So this little quad here is very, very beautiful. Again, we're getting more sunburny shades, but there are 3 shades in here that I would wear as a blush and have just worn as a blush. Of course, the cream blush shade, which is this beautiful, like, it reads more hot pink once it's on the skin and is blended out, but it like also has like, it's leaning cranberry. It's giving cranberry, but this glow cream base, which I'm not really sure, I used to use it as the base for the highlighter, but it has enough pigment to it where it just like is very, very subtle, like a very subtle, like glowy, of course, glowy blush. And then another thing that I have worn in here just as a blush is the Duo Glow powder in the bottom here. I mean, you can use this whole thing on your cheek, or you can use one or use some, really play around with it, depending on how intense of a look you're really going for, and like really get whatever you want. But I would say this one is less for the faint of heart. Like you have to really like this blush shade, the cream blush shade, because if you're not going to use that shade, then this isn't worth it, because I don't think you should just buy it for the other 3. The Glow Extreme is like pretty, but it's not something I wear as a blush, but like when I layer all of these together, I do, but it's like something I don't use often, and it's a little too dark for me to just use as a highlighter removed from these blushes. Like it's part of a look. Like if I'm gonna do it, it's like part of the look. Well, not the perfect palette for me. It's something I got a lot of use out of, and I was actually really surprised. I have like a good dent going in the cream base, which is great. So we would love to see usage in all of our products. And I will say this is an aside. If you weren't here for Messmas, the project formerly known as Messmas, and you are new here, hi, welcome. I tried to use every piece of makeup I own in the month of December, and I was not able to do so. However, I can tell this year that like I can see so much usage in a lot of the stuff that I own, and that is fantastic. I do think that you could definitely be inspired by this, but I think this is like an underrated Natasha Denona product. Like I just think for brave and bold girls in the summertime, brave and bold girlies, and when I say girlies, I'm not meaning it like actually gendered. I just mean like we're the girls, like we are the girlies, would enjoy this. If you like summer, then you'll like this palette. But I also think this would look really, really pretty on deeper complexion, like people with deeper complexions, just like especially this guy. And so this is a Duo Glow, much like I have on my cheek, except it's like an orange red Duo Glow as opposed to like this pink, almost shifting green Duo Glow that I have on my cheek today. I think I just want to stick with cream products while we're talking about cream products. The next one I have is one of the Fenty Cheeks Out in Fuego Flush. Now I had a Daiquiri Dip, which was a more red one. The reason that this one stuck around in my collection and that one didn't is because this one has that beautiful, I would say like a more intense glitter component to it. It's like a very shiny blush. And while, cream products allow themselves to shine just because of the nature of the product, this has like sparkle in it. So if you don't like a sparkly blush, this might not be a blush that you like, but I mean, it's like this beautiful orange. Like, how does that not sing to you in the summertime? How does that not make your heart aflutter? Because it just really is a beautiful shade. And in my opinion, it is the most special of the shades from Fenty's Cheeks Outline. I think there was only one other blush that ever caught my eye after I bought the initial 2. And I think it was like a holiday only release, and it was like in the Fenty Glow shade. So I probably would have liked that, but I don't need it. But I really enjoy this. It's a really nice formula. Probably not my favorite cream blush formula, but like this sings to me for the summertime as an inspired shade. Like it's like a very pretty like shade. And I love an orange cheek famously, but there are fall orange cheeks and there are fall winter orange cheeks and there are summer orange cheeks, and this is certainly a summertime orange cheek. And I would say that if you are someone who doesn't like a lot of glow, but you would like this shade and you want to try this formula, you probably wouldn't need a highlighter if you use it. Of course, I put a highlighter on because I love to look, you know, as if I am profusely sweating at any given time. Yet I have a fan on. Like, if you hear the fan, I'm sorry, it's hot. And I don't do well with heat, so unless it's a hot shade, unless it's me, I'm hot. But like, moving right along with creams. Next up is from Tower 28. It's the Beach Please in the shade Power Hour. Now, this one I would definitely say if you have medium to deep skin tones, this is probably going to work better for you. But if you are a fair-skinned person like me, if you can blend this out, you got to be careful with how much you're putting on. Because I do find this to be one of my more flimsy, more difficult cream blushes that I have. It's not the hardest to work with. I like the formula a lot, but I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorites. So normally when I'm using this, I like to tap it on the back of my hand before putting it on my face. Or if I am using a brush that day, I put some excess product on the back of my hand before I start swiping it on my cheek, only because of the depth of this particular shade. I can't speak to any of the other shades. This is the only one I have. This gives you like a very nice sunburned look if you have fair skin, but I just think it would look really nice on deeper complexions too. It's like just like this beautiful, just like terracotta with a little bit of red in it, which is like also one of my favorite cheek shades. Like, I just love this kind of thing. It's really, really pretty. On the skin looks a lot different, like a little bit different on, you know, as it does in the pan, but it's really pretty, and I'm really excited to keep using it this summer because I feel like I don't know her that well, even though like I have some usage in her, but like she's one of those things. I don't know if any of you have like a thing in your makeup collection like this, but I have quite a few things where like I'm scared to use them because I think they're hard to use, and then I use them and they're not as hard to use as I remember them being, but they still live in the category of my brain as being a difficult product, even though this isn't a difficult product. I would say it's a little more flimsy than my other products, but it's not like hard to use. It's not something that I've ever like had to start my makeup over or difficult, but that's my little aside about the Tower 28 Beach Please blush. So I have one of the Westman Atelier baby cheeks in the shade Pop It, which is this beautiful hot pink. And what it took me a long time to come around to this particular shade. The Natasha Denona pinks are a little more easy for me, but this is like hot pink. Again, another one that I think would look really beautiful on deeper skin tones than me because of it won't look as stark on you as it does on me. It would look much more like, I think, organic and natural. However, I don't really take my blush across my nose, but this is also a very good, like, very lightly sunburned cheek for me. And if I ever did take it across my nose, I think it would look really chic and really cute. I just think that I would rub that off so fast. Like, I just think that like me taking anything across my nose is just like a recipe for disaster. Like fake freckles, I tried it. It's just not for me. Like things on my nose, I can barely get concealer to stay there. So like there's no way I'm putting like more and more product on top of it. But that's just like my personal thing. That's like a personal, like just HMT things, you know what I mean? Also, someone said HMT as a reference to me. And also I have a discount code that I got from a brand that I haven't put in my notes, in my video descriptions yet, because I don't think I want to promote them, but I did get some PR from them. Anyway, that's for a different video for a different time. I am testing the products, but the products are not from them. It's like a store. Anyway, more tea on that later. But the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks. I really like this formula. It's really easy to use. I think if I bought a different shade, much like the Tower 28 blush, I have some hesitancy using this because of the shade. And I think because of the shade and how pronounced it is and how much it sticks out on my skin as like just being like a very vibrant shade, when I just feel like I need to do a little extra work with it. But you can drag it on the skin, which works really well, and it doesn't lift any product. And then you can also, you know, take some from here with your brush or your finger and tap it onto the skin. That's typically what I do rather than dragging on a cheek, unless I'm going for like a really intense blush look, which in the summertime we can definitely do that. We could be the people who do that. I feel like I need a non-gender specific term for girlies, and I need to come up with that because I just want to call everyone my girly. Like we're girls, we're the girls, but we can't be. We need to do something. We need to be better. Drop comment if you have something that we can call ourselves, meaning including me, like it's hot girl summer. It's hot. Like it's not hot day summer. Like doesn't. I'm just not feeling that. That's not the vibe. It's not passing the vibe check. Okay. Anyway, I'm so old. This is really, really nice. And I do think if you have like a blush shade like this that you're afraid of, summertime is the time to explore it, because what? If you're actually leaving the house, you're probably going to sweat it off before you get to the destination anyway. Obviously, summertime here in the United States is going to be different than the summertime in Australia. I have quite a few Australian viewers, so I'm sorry that I'm giving you summertime recommendations, but you're now on your way to summer and we are in it. So just remember this video when summertime rolls around, okay? I would love to try a different shade of this that's more wearable, like every day for me, but I really like this, and I do think the formula is nice, and it never has ruined my makeup before. It's just sometimes my blush looks a little more intense than I want it to, and that's that. I have two from Ritual Defeat. These are their Nectar Pigment Balms. The first one is Snapdragon, and this one is pretty much like the Fuego Flush shade without all the sparkle, and like gives you more of a glossy finish as opposed to like a sparkly finish, a super highlighty finish. Like it's a completely different thing. Really beautiful. This shade is really beautiful. I'm gonna post the swatches, but I think what I really want to talk about is the other shade is much more important to me. It's the shade Wasp, and it's a yellow blush. For spring and summer, yellow blush. And I know that was like a trend like a year ago or maybe even 2 years ago, but yellow blush for the summertime? Mama. The Nectar Pigment Balm formula is certainly not my favorite like creamy blush formula because it is a balm. It's not that I'm opposed to balm products because I have some balm highlighters that I really enjoy. I just think that they unlike West Atelier and unlike the Tower 28, the pigmentation isn't like immediate, especially when you're going in gentle-handed. I do find that when I can go in pretty hard with a brush and then start applying this, and it works fairly well to getting me to right where I want to immediately. But I'm adapting to using blushes. Like I'm new to using brushes in my blushes. I don't know that any of that came out right, but I think you follow me. I think you know what I mean. That's like my only thing about these. So like not a rant or a rave. Like I think if you were interested in Wasp, like Wasp is a special enough color to buy it for the shade. But I do think if you could dupe the other shades with better formulas, that was what I would do. But yellow blush for the summertime, if you have a yellow blush and you've been afraid to wear it, why? Why? You're not too old. You're not uncool. You can wear yellow blush. The next thing I'm about to show you is more to inspire you formula-wise and shade-wise as opposed to, you know, trying to sell you the fantasy of this specific item. So from M Cosmetics, they have a serum blush. Now, if anyone knows of another brand that has a serum blush, let me know. I bought this and then some weird stuff happened with the owner of M Cosmetics, which makes me uneasy about like buying from them again. But I really like this. So now I'm going to say this. I have oily skin. And I think my hesitation with this was that I wasn't going to like it on my oily skin. It was going to deteriorate throughout the day, and it doesn't. So in this particular serum formula, I really like it. It makes my skin look like glass. It's like, it's not a glow. It's like I am reflecting light that is like a tint of a color. And while this shade looks really intimidating, once it's blended out, it's like not the most pigmented thing, but it has this impact of shine and dewy and glossy, which again, for the summertime, for the girls who gloss. So we need a non-gendered G word to call ourselves, and not guys, because some people do have a problem with the word guys. I don't particularly, but I know that some people do. So again, comment section is open for recommendations. Anyway, I really like this. I haven't used it too much this summer yet, but now that I have it in my hand, once I was doing the swatches, because I filmed the swatching footage a different day, I was like, ooh, we need to play with you. Both this and Wasp like came into my brain, and I was like, oh yes, these two. Very summery, very gorgeous. Yum, yum, yum. Moving on to my last cream entry is from Phytosurgeons. And this, I'm going to say it, and I think I do mean it. I think Phytosurgeons has like the best cream blush formula, like full stop. And they just released those toasted blushes. Ooh, I'm not going to buy any because we are going to get pretty intense with my next few purchases that I bought for review and hopefully to keep in my collection. I hope I like them. But just know that I'm sad that the toasted blushes are not on the docket for me to immediately buy. Anyway, this is one of their Skin Sparks, which is a cream blush. I have the shade Smolder, which is like, that's my ideal cheek shade. This, I want it all of the time. All of the time. All of the time. It's this beautiful, warm, but not like too fiery. It's like not too orangey, but it's like not exactly tan. It just like lives in this perfect space of like being the perfect shade. Like it looks terracotta and it looks like it's gonna be really dark, and then you blend it out and then you get some of that orange, but it's not like Fire Engine orange. It's not like Fuego Flush orange. It's like this just subdued, beautiful orange, which is just like, the best. The best. Ooh, this formula is really gorgeous, and if you've never tried a Phytosurgeon's blush, like, I recommend it. Like, I recommend you, if you find a shade in there that you like, the Skin Sparks are really nice. And, you know, it's a smaller business, and I know that some not larger, when I say larger, like larger than me YouTubers have started like singing the praises of Phytosurgeons. Like, believe it, because like all the micro creators, we also really like Phytosurgeons Skin Sparks. Now, some other people use some of their other products, which I do not use, and I didn't get along with one of their products, but the blushes, the Skin Spark, mama, the star of the show. Next up is from a brand that I don't know that I thought I would ever talk about on my channel, and now I have one product from them and I adore it. And if you know, you know, but it is the Kiss of Copper bronzer from Bare Minerals. I think that what are they called? Gen Nude bronzer. Who wants to say Gen Nude? Get over it. We're not going to say it. I know you're trying to brand, but like, okay, this is Kiss of Copper. What I like about this, and while it feels like it's going to be similar to Smolder, which I just showed you, it's not. One, it has an immaculate shine, and it is a powder, and there must be, I don't know, I feel like it's a sheen, but I do think there might be some micro particle shimmer things going on in there, but I feel like I get a sheen, but I have seen micro glitters in there before. But me finding a glitter on my face, it could have been from makeup from a week ago. Like, you never know what that glitter is from, or it could have been on a brush from like something else. Like, you know, like you never know where that glitter could have come from. Anyway, this is probably my favorite powder blush formula would definitely be these bronzers. What I like about them, and like they're supposed to be like a blush bronzer combo, and you can feel that warmth in it. You can feel that extra oomph in them. And now I don't have any of the other shades, but I think Kiss of Pink is definitely like the lightest. I think you get the less of that pack of punch of the ooh, you know, like that ooh, that's like the little je ne sais quoi. You get like less of the je ne sais quoi. But this you get like that warmth, and it just feels like summertime. It is a little bit deeper of a shade. Like, I think I really like it on my skin tone, but because of the depth of this, and I think this was like designed with like medium skin tones in mind, I really like it with a fan brush so I can control it putting it on. And I've had some of my subscribers ask me how I like to put it on, and saying that they were having some issues with the pigmentation of it being a little bit too strong. So I would recommend a fan brush if you're having that issue, especially if you are buying one that was a deeper skin tone than yours. I think that going with the fan brush is the right way. But you don't need highlighter with this. Like, in theory, if I was a one product on my cheek person, if I was Hannah Louise Poston, if I was Nisi Pisa, this would be like the one and done. Like, it would give me all of the things I needed on my cheek. It's just so stunning. Now we're going to talk about another powder formula that I really like, but isn't my favorite, but is really good, just not my favorite. From Pat McGrath, I have two that I recommend for the summer. For those of you who want to look like you are sunburned, I highly recommend the shade Electric Bloom, or something like it if you have something like this in your collection. It's like hot coral with some more depth than a coral. It's not red, because you get sunburned look. It's just the sunburn cheek. It It is the Sunburned cheek. And at one point I had quite a few blushes that like hit this mark, but I now probably have this one, and it really is. Because like on camera, I feel like that's reading pink, but in person, there's like more of like a coral moment happening here. Hot coral is the way I would describe it. And if I were to take any of them across my cheek, across my nose, it would be this one. Like, you can't overdo it. And again, this one's definitely designed, I think, for, it's gonna look really beautiful and much easier effort-wise on someone with a deeper complexion than myself. But I wanted this shade. It's a beautiful shade. And I love her. And she's gorgeous. So if you have like an eyeshadow that's like this like hot coral shade, try it on your cheeks sometime. It's really, really pretty. Now my last recommendation, I do feel I've not found another blush that like hits the mark like this particular shade from this brand. And it is the shade Desert Orchid from, if you have fair skin like me, it gives you just like this beautiful glow, warm glow, but it's like so subtle. It's like so subtle. Like you'll start putting it on and you're going to be like, am I putting anything on? And then you'll maybe put another layer on and you go, oh, I see it. I really don't know how to describe this magic to you. There's some kind of sorcery in the shade because it looks like it's just like a tan blush, right? It looks like that, but it definitely has some pearlescence to it. You're going to get, it's a sheen, right? You're not going to get like a matte finish from this. But there's a lot of just nuance to this shade that like when you look at it right now, when I show this to you, you're probably like, there's not really that much nuance to it. But there's something very beautiful about this when you have it in your hands and you can see it in real life. If you have a Sephora that has a Pat McGrath display and you haven't checked out this shade, and I'm going to go ahead and say that for people with fair skin, this is probably going to be like more up your alley than someone with a deeper complexion. But yeah, I don't know that I don't think I have anything in my collection that could dupe this out with. Like, any of these other things, I certainly have an eyeshadow shade that could mimic what it does, and I'm sure that you do too. So if I pulled out anything that inspired you, that's what I would love for you to do. And if you have any summer of blushes that you would love to recommend to us in the comments, I would love to hear from you there. Don't forget that you can subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed my content. I hope you had fun watching. Please subscribe. Don't forget to like. And I'm also on Patreon. If you would like to support me there, feel free. And I think that's it. Just remember to follow your haute and you will find me. I will see you in my next video. Bye. The wrap.